Thank you so much. Ms. Diene Keita, Assistant Secretary General of the UN and UNFPA Deputy Executive Director. Our host, Dr. Suwana Chai, PPD Board and the Honorable Director General, Department of Health, Ministry of Public Health, the Royal Thai Government, our Chair, representative of the Chair, and Minister for Development, South Africa, and PPD Board Chair, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the 1994 International Conference on Population and Development held in Cairo articulated a bold vision about the relationship between population, development, and individual well-being. Countries adopted a forward-looking program of action that was remarkable in its recognition that reproductive health and rights, as well as women's empowerment and gender equality, are cornerstones of population and development programs. The program of action continues to serve as a comprehensive guide to people-centered development progress. 25 years later, at the Nairobi Summit in 2019, the POA reiterated the importance of rights and the choices for all as critical for achieving sustainable development and inclusive economic growth. Uganda's country delegation, which was led by His Excellency President Museveni, made the following commitments towards accelerating the promise. Number one, promoting universal access to all methods of family planning and reduce the unmet need for family planning from 28% to 10% by 2022. Reaffirm the commitments that we have made at the Family Planning Summit in London in July 2017 to increase financial support towards reproductive health and family planning supplies and commodities to the last mile. Number two, allocate annually at least 10% of maternal and child health resources to adolescent-friendly reproductive health services. Number three, to eliminate obstacles that stand in the way of girls' empowerment, including teenage pregnancy and child marriage, as well as forms of gender-based violence. Embark on educational reforms aimed at ensuring that girls enroll and stay in school, as well as scale up investments in technical and vocational education to create employable skills and competences relevant to the labor market. Number four, operationalize a national sexual education policy framework that was launched in 2018 to provide a formal national direction for sexuality education within Uganda's schools, while upholding positive cultural and religious values of the country. Number five, ensure that different dimensions of the demographic dynamics and diversity are integrated into planning and budgeting frameworks at all levels. And this is what we have been able to do so far. Achieving the program of action calls for a multi-sectoral approach, and as such, the commitments highlighted above have been integrated in the third National Development Plan, which is implemented through the program-based approach, which also incorporates budgeting for our national resources. There's an SDG coordination framework and SDG roadmap. Uganda also established a national steering committee to oversee implementation of the ICPD at 25 commitments. These forums have, number one, provided a forum and direction to ensure responsiveness to key population and development priorities within the third National Development Plan. Two, coordinated with the legislative bodies relevant ministries and institutions at the national and subnational levels, government partners, civil society organizations, and private sector to ensure that we mutually complement between the activities and strategies for wider sectoral development concerning population and development. Number 3, conducted policy dialogues and disseminated information related to population and development at both national and subnational levels. Number 4, provided the annual progress reports of the SDGs and implementation of the ICPD program of action. Regarding the South-to-South and triangular cooperation, the SSTC as a forum for exchange of new ideas, shared adaptable solutions, is a sure way to power solution to some of the world's most persistent development challenges. I'm happy to report that Uganda is proudly applying SSTC principles to leverage the potential of harnessing the SDGs and the demographic dividend amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. There are increasing forged partnerships and collaborations within the region member states through the Africa Peer Review Mechanism and improved localization population of the SDGs. The youth are encouraged to innovate to harness the country potential, as well as strengthening technology and information systems in SDG implementation. There's progress in the health sector, where there is noticeable resilience of the health systems to address and close up the gaps. The general economy has proved to be resilient to external shocks, and this is reflected in the public resources mobilization and revenues, debt management, climate change, closing gender gaps in all aspects, strengthened security system, as well as an economic empowerment of the citizens. The progress of SDGs is without challenges, is not without challenges, particularly on timely, quality, and disaggregated data and statistics, which is critical in designing, planning, and implementation of socio-economic transformation programs. It is time for government to collaborate with the private sector and development partners to invest in data innovation systems that produce granular transactional data that not only guarantees a risk-mitigated business environment for the economy. Considering that sub-Saharan Africa is likely to face more pressing challenges for sustainable development, including social, economic, and environmental prospects, addressing the topic of population growth is still sensitive because it touches on deeply held social norms linked to cultural, religious, and gendered norms. This implies that the perspectives on population dynamics in relation to family planning and reproductive autonomy should be more acknowledged and sought at the international level. Building more champions to always speak about these sensitive topics while sharing experiences from countries that have succeeded through the SSTC would be helpful. I call on development partners and the PPD to support countries from the South to collectively and coherently leverage technological advancement and support countries to document lessons and best practices widely. Population dynamics, including harnessing the demographic dividend, should be given more weight. I thank you for your attention.